Hi, this is John with Fix It Planet. Today we're going to take a look at this Beats Mixr headphones with a broken headband, and we're just going to go through the process of replacing this headband from start to finish and point out a couple of little things that might be of interest if you're going to do this yourself. So you can buy the headband with the additional cable in case you need to replace that if it got torn or broken. You can get them this way, and it even will come with the rubber and plastic insert. So the first thing you have to do is get in behind these little caps on either side of these hinges and just pry them off. They're stuck on with some adhesive. Just use a thin tool to get in behind there and pull those off, and you will get access to a very large Phillips screw. So you'll need a big fat Phillips head screwdriver. And these aren't too bad as far as the way they're designed. They're actually pretty good. They're easier to repair in a lot of ways. So right there, you'll notice that there is another metal washer that got left behind inside the headband, so be aware of that. And keep these parts together. There's going to be a little bit of grease on them, so your fingers might get a little something on them. No big deal. But we may want to clean the headband when we're done. So there's little metal brackets, just snap right off, and then this piece on the inside here will slide off the headband with a tongue and groove connection. And that's what the little board looks like underneath, where you can solder the new wires if you need to. So if you don't need to do that, you don't necessarily need to have all that stuff separated, but I have them separated a little bit because I wasn't holding them together. And if that happens to you, you will want to be careful that you route those wires back in there. And we'll point out what I mean here in a second. So this will slide on, little tongue and groove. And it pushes in and stops when it's all the way in place. Now these wires here, they need to be properly routed underneath this circular disc. And we don't want them to stick out. We don't want them to be in the way of the screw. And so when we put this back in, if you just shove them in there any old way, I'll show you in a second what will happen. So you can see that wire in there in that little hole there. That will be damaged if you leave it like that and put a screw in. So I'll show you from the other side. So we'll just put this little cap into place, pretend we didn't notice. And this cap also only fits in one way, so you have to sort of turn it around until you get it into position. Now that's there, we think we're going to put our screw in, and suddenly we look at this and go, wait a minute, that screw's in the way, or that wire's in the way, no good. Alright, so let's go back and get these wires routed. So if you can hold that into place without letting those that come apart, then you won't have to worry about that. But if they do come off, you just have to go in and carefully route those wires underneath that little disc. And if they try to stick out or something, you can just poke them back in until you get them right where you want them. Be sure that you hold on to it while you get these other pieces into place. And this little hinge will just sort of go right over, and then we'll put this piece here, we'll put that back in. And it also just has a kind of flat side on either side of the little post, and it will only go in one way. You can see there are no wires showing through, which is good. And we'll tighten our screw down. You can tighten them till they're snug, and if they're too tight for you, you can just back off on the screw a little bit. Or if they're not tight enough, you can just snug that screw down a little more. Now we'll repeat this process on the other side. That's the washer that got left out on the other side there. They got left behind. So you want to make sure you get all those pieces out of the headband. Now we're going to hold on to that piece on this side so it doesn't come apart on us, and slide that off and immediately slide it right back on to the other side. You can see there's the board. You solder that wire on if you need to. And no wires sticking out in our way there, so we're safe to put that screw in. Put our little cover cap back on. Now this wire just needs to be routed up under the headband there in such a way that it won't get pinched when you put the inserts back on. This one's a little bit stretched out of place, so we have to mess around with that a little bit. Now we'll go ahead and just put all of the this plastic insert and the rubber and the foam, and we'll just put all that together before we snap it into place, so we don't have to fool with that once we've got everything in place. Hey, yours may or may not have the little foam there. I don't know. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. It's not critical. And just make sure that the rubber is actually tucked in under the, in between the plastic insert there and the headband. Put your metal caps back, your metal brackets back on. They just snap on either side. Make sure everything is moving properly without snagging or pulling on a cable. I'm going to go ahead and wipe them down since there was a little bit of grease and oil or whatever in those hinges. And hopefully you found this useful or interesting, and we appreciate you watching. If you like, share, and subscribe, that really helps us out when you do that. So hopefully this will help someone get theirs fixed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.